Hi, welcome back to Box Delights. Today we got a little preview video for you of the latest content for Chip Theory Games' CLOUDSPIRE. They've just started a Kickstarter and they sent out this little collection of preview components. So everything I'm showing you here is prototype. There's placeholder art, chips, reference sheets. This stuff is not final. But you may see a few folks previewing this as Chip Theory Games gear up to promote their Kickstarter. What I wanted to do for you though is show you the two new factions, the Uprising and Horizon's Wrath. In a few days I'm going to be doing a live playthrough with Paul Grogan of Gaming Rules, and I'll be taking on the role of Horizon's Wrath. It'll be interesting because I've not played them, obviously, and I've not actually played a two-player game, so it'll be my first two-player game, predominantly playing solo. But let's start by giving you an overview of the Uprising faction. The first thing you'll notice when you look at this faction is you've got one hero, two minions, you've got Militia Defender, Militia Ranger, and just two Spires, Rebuilt Ruins and Rabble Rouser. Why? How can you survive with just that few units? The reason is they also come with all of these mercenaries. All these merc units are going to go in the market and get shuffled in to offer a massive amount of variety on the mercenaries, the equipment that's available to you in the market. And instead you'll have this new phase that's just for you after the market phase, before the build phase, called a draft market phase. And in this phase you can purchase from the market at zero cost. It costs you no source. You can do this 3 times. If you don't like anything in the market, you can use any of your 3 times to instead refresh the market. And in the normal market phase, you don't pay source for those chips. Instead, purchase units and spires. They go in your barracks and equipment beside your barracks. Any escapes you might buy, they're still going to cost you the 2 source. And to give you something to play with right from the off, during setup, you'll draw 2 minions, 2 heroes, 2 spires, and a piece of equipment to form your starting barracks. So you're like a mercenary force, taking units from all across Ankar to create your faction. Another interesting aspect about this faction is that this garrison, this fortress, is like an island. It's not attached to the mainland. Unlike existing factions, there's no source wells in your fortress, and no fortress gate. Instead, you get these 4 waygate chips. During setup, your fortress is placed in front of you, and when the first aisle is revealed, you take one of your waygates and you place it adjacent to a path. This acts like your fortress gate. Now, during the course of the game, here's your hero, Nutarut, with his promoted side. He has a build waygate ability, and you can have up to 4 waygates in play across Ankar. It's a neat little action. Unrevealed landmarks become sources for your waygate. You just discard the unrevealed landmark and replace it with a waygate. Unfortunately, every time you use build waygate, he gets unpromoted, and then you'll have to get promoted again. You can also voluntarily destroy a waygate. This kind of acts like a self-destruct. Waygates are unstable. Flip them to their destroyed side as a limited build action, and all units adjacent are destroyed. In all other respects, waygates act just like your fortress gate, so your island is not as detached as you might first think. Your zero cost starting hero has Lookout 3. He can look at unrevealed landmarks 3 hexes away. And Hunter deals +1 damage when attacking landmarks. If we have a look at your starting minions, you've got the Militia Ranger, 2 range, and then the Militia Defender, air defense. So pretty basic starting units. Same for your Spire. You've got Rabble Rouser with air defense, takes 2 upgrades, and then Rebuilt Ruins takes 4 upgrades and has upgrade plans. What this means is the cost of each upgrade is reduced by 1. In terms of upgrades, the Spatial Research Station allows you to construct spires on any non-path hex adjacent to a waygate. And waygate feedback means your waygates, which act like fortresses, do 2 retaliation. In the rogue garrison, your level 1 is the signing bonus die. This allows you to collect extra CP when purchasing equipment, heroes, minions, spires from the market, if that matches your role. Loyalist Initiative allows you to reserve market chips, only you can buy them. And the black market, the 3rd advancement, means you can put equipment on minions, not just heroes. The Thieves' Den will give you access to the reward die, as it's level 3 advancement. You can target an opposing unit. You place this die on any active unit, maybe 2 times source on an opposing unit. If you destroy that unit, you'll gain double source. For example, you've got a relic reward, or there's a 4 source 2 extra CP next wave. The level 2 upgrade gives all of your units Hunter, +1 damage against landmarks, and Treasure Contract is the level 1. You gain 2 source each time you reveal a landmark. So this faction really likes hunting down those landmarks. The last die is at Reconstruction Labs. Again, a level 3 upgrade. Roll this die, and then as an extra build option, place it on a spire in play, and that spire gains 2 extra build capacity, so you can really build up your spires. The level 2 is Scavenger, so when you defeat spires you can grab an upgrade chip, place it beside your barracks and use it to upgrade your own spires. And the level 1 is called Trade Secrets. During the onslaught phase you can return one of your spires to your barracks and gain the source, equal to half its source cost. An extra way to get source. There's a couple more. We got Covert Ops over here. These are all level 1 upgrades, so level 1A, B and C, so you can complete them in any order. First is Low Risk Op, it's a one-time use. Have one of your units defeat a unit with greater health than it, and you get 1 CP reward next time. The second Covert Op, if you defeat a hero with a minion that has 2 or less health, you get a reward of 3 CP next round. And the third Covert Op, if you move a minion adjacent to an opposing fortress gate and then remove the minion from play. If you do that, you can choose an opponent's fortress advancement and tell them they can't choose it next time. And then lastly, your HQ, your headquarters. The first advancement is a pretty standard game, +2 CP during each prep phase. The second advancement, Advanced Team, you can have 3 heroes in play at one time, instead of just 2. And then Conquest Protocols. Heroes can have up to 2 pieces of equipment on them. Find those mercenary equipments. You can place them on your in-play heroes during the prep phase. So that's your Uprising, a band of mercenaries. Now let's take a look at Horizon's Wrath. Once more, their fortress is going to be very different to what you've seen in existing factions. Again, there's no source wells here on your fortress gate. This time you are connected to the mainland, but your fortress is an airship, and your fortress gate is here in the center of your airship. And linking your fortress gate to the mainland is a plank. Walking the plank, a wooden plank. The only way to attack your fortress gate is through this plank. Okay, the plank is adjacent to these 3. But the unique part about this faction is, as a strategic maneuver, once during the game you can pull up the plank. Any enemies that are standing here would get immediately destroyed. You can pull up your plank and then you can move your airship anywhere you wish and replace it next to a path and put your plank back down. It causes all sorts of mayhem. So that's a once per game as a strategic maneuver. But also, at the captain's cabin, one of the fortress upgrades, the second one, pull the plank. You remove it after you use it, but it is repurchasable. It is costly, it's 6. But you can keep using this fortress advantage to keep moving your airship. Otherwise, the faction looks like a standard faction, standard number of heroes, minions and spires. Your 0 cost hero, First Mate Mistbane, has swordsmanship, as is Admiral Traxtail here. When attacking, increase the damage dealt by 1 for each opposing unit adjacent to it. Captain Tinbeard, a mighty 7 health here, has kind of a ranged attack, Pistolier. It's a 2 range attack, Then you flip the unit, remove an upgrade. With morale, when damaging an opposing unit, you tick up a morale die. We'll see that in a moment. You're promoted First Mate and Admiral. Miss Bain has Pistolier as well, and then Admiral Traxtail has Relentless. You don't want to be attacking this hero if you don't want a substantial retaliation. Your key minion, particularly at the beginning, is the Swabby. Like the Grove Tenders, Horizon's Wrath minions may be promoted through the use of Sacrifice. Swabby's Sacrifice. When defeated, you can promote a friendly active minion, even minions grouped with the Swabby. So Swabby gets defeated, the Buccaneer becomes active and promotes. The Swabby's pretty weak. With 1 health, 0 attack, it attacks and retaliates for 0 damage. With the level 1 fortress upgrade in the hold, which is called promotion, your Swabbies are deployed promoted and they gain emboldened. They gain an extra health. But with emboldened, when defeated, the immediately revealed and grouped minion beneath can immediately move and attack. Normally, grouped units who immediately reveal can't do such a thing. So this is kind of like a little surprise attack. One thing to note about Swabby, when they sacrifice, they're removed from the game unless you spend 2 source. So you've got to look after these things, keep some source in reserve. For Spires, you start with access to the Air Clipper and Gunboat. Air Clipper pretty standard, it's got 4 upgrades. Gunboat has 5, but significantly for the Gunboat, it has this directional arrow. It's got a directional attack. Let's look a little bit more at your fortress and these directional attacks now. For the Gunboat, when it's deployed, it'll give it a direction, and it's got 2 range, but it's only going to attack along this line. When this spire is constructed, it comes with 2 range and 2 attacks, so it's pretty potent and lots of upgrade potential. But with this directional arrow, it will only attack along this line. So it is vulnerable from other directions. Additionally, your airship starts with a cannonball die here on the gun deck set to 0. It's always there, and it acts as a counter. And as a build option during the build phase, you can spend 2 source to click this up. You're buying a cannonball, and you can buy up to 5 cannonballs. Here on your airship, they're numbered 1, 2, 3, 4, a directional cannon. Core cannons upgrade 1A, so they're all level 1. You can do them in any order. You can fire cannonballs from cannons 1 and 2. Okay, so again, directional. Look out for friendly fire. They'll hit the closest active unit spire or fortress gate in a direct line from the cannon. All you do is tick this down at the start of onslaught phase to fire one of these cannons. So now you can see, combine your cannons with manoeuvring your airship, and suddenly you've got a dangerous force. Upgrade 1B is flank cannons, cannons 3 and 4. They'll fire over the sky. Upgrade number 3 is the gunboat calibration. At the end of your turn during onslaught, you can reorient your gunboat spires. Upgrade number 4, gunboat reloader. At the start of your turn, each of your gunboat spires can fire. No worries about friendly fire this time, they're attacking opposing units. And then finally, powder infusion. When constructing your air clippers and gunboat spires, you add 1 range. The other die, I talked about it before, the captain's cabin is the morale die. It's a level 1 upgrade to get this. Again, it's a counter every time you defeat an opposing unit through fortress retaliation, damage from a cannonball, pulling the plank, or from those units with morale. Captain Tinbeard, you tick this die up by 1. Again to a maximum of 5. You're banking morale. During the prep phase, you can tick this down by any amount and add that as CP. Okay, so you could potentially gain up to 5 CP. We already talked about pulling the plank. This is Captain's Cabin 2nd upgrade. Access to your upgraded spires is a level 1 upgrade at the launch bay. These are the Shadow Skiff and lifeboats. The Shadow Skiff has stealth and relocate. Stealth says you can place it anywhere, and relocate says you can swap positions with another spire. That's a limited build action. The lifeboat is a way of rescuing your heroes. Heroes can move onto a lifeboat as if it were a path hex, and then everything moves back to fortress and the spire back to barracks. The second upgrade at the launch bay gives your Shadow Skiff and light boats an extra fortification upgrade, and then the third upgrade gives you a manned glider. One of your key units is the glider. It's flying, it's got range 2. Breakneck says it must advance as far as possible. With your manned glider upgrade, the gliders are now promoted. With a movement of 4, and air transport means you can group one unit even if its movement is lower. Normally the slowest units must be grouped on top, so you can transport slow moving units across the map. Other upgrades, the crew's quarters here in the middle. With the first upgrade, now Buccaneers act as an attack upgrade on your spires. So you kind of man your spires with your Buccaneers, +1 attack on your spires. All they do is move into the spire as if it were a Parpex. With your second upgrade, Hands on Deck, you can remove that Buccaneer at full health from a spire and it can travel back out across the map. The second upgrade at the hold, the source cost when sacrificing a Swabby instead of 2 is now 1, okay, to keep them in your barracks. Lastly then, the gate ports. This one's a bit mean. Level 1, your opposing faction now loses 2 source at the start of each market phase. A little act of piracy. Level 2, during market phase you can buy for 1 source any merc from the discard pile. And level 3 is ransom. At the end of the market phase, select a chip from the market. Give it a source cost, any cost you wish, as long as it's not currently more than the source you have. Other players can purchase it for 2 more than that cost, or you get it for that cost. It's kind of like a little bid. So there we have it, Ankar's Plunder. And like I say, you'll be seeing Horizon's Wrath in play soon against gaming rules. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this little overview. Well, thanks for watching. Stay safe, stay home, game solo, save lives. See you soon. Take care.